Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a new video where today I'm going to share with you all why I believe the new 2024 Dodge Daytona Dodge Charger, Daytona EV RT or Scat Pack electric vehicle that Stellantis is making Dodge release, and we will see it. Well, they told us we would see it July or August, but now I'm hearing rumors that it's having issues and it'll take a few more months before we see that thing hit the dealerships. I would bet that for sure they're probably having some glitches, but they're also having some brain glitches because they can't get dealers to accept a single thing from them right now due to high levels of inventory. So I'm sure there's a component of why the hell are we going to release a whole bunch of new cars and completely stifle the ability to sell the existing cars. That's the way they think. The way I think is you can deliver all the electric cars you want, and these dealers ain't going to be able to sell them because they can barely sell the cars that we do want because the prices are too high and interest rates suck. And people are sick and tired of dealing with the dealers because of the shadiness and ridiculous and duplicitous lying and cheating and stealing and thievery that takes place every time you walk through the door of most of these dealerships. So for that reason, I think it's not going to be here till later on in the year, which is hilarious because if it's a 2024, that would mean that the 2024 lineup isn't coming out till later on this year, or are they going to call it a 25? I can't remember. It doesn't even matter. Here's what I do know. I don't think it's going to sell. I think there's better options, and I'm going to share with you the significantly better option. Also, I thought I'd mention to you all that one, I've got an announcement to make. My Cybertruck order has popped up in my email, and the one I put in, the pre-order I put in, the $100 deposit I put in back in 2020 under the influence of 3 beautiful blue cheese olive laden martinis, is now available for order. And I am making a decision, and a formal decision, that I'm not going to order it. And here's where some of you are going to say, but Brad, I thought you hated EVs. You would never buy an EV. No, I've said in my videos many times, I think there's plenty of room for EVs, hydrogen, hell, bring us a nuclear car. I think there's plenty of room. My issue is 100% with the mandates, the forcing us to drive these things, forcing this proliferation of a technology that is likely as bad over time, we may learn, as any of the gas cars or especially hybrid vehicles. We haven't seen that comparison. I would love to see it. Hybrid versus an EV, what it costs to build it, what it costs in electricity, what it costs in fossil fuels. I would bet anything that hybrid starts to make a lot more sense. I have no problem with other technologies. My issue is you're mandating it on me, and that's when I lose my sense of humor. When you're taking something away from me, I lose my sense of humor. And I've lost my sense of humor with the government mandates, with the ridiculous belief from these manufacturers that these cars actually are something that could get to 50+%. It can't. They're still under 10%. And people don't want them. 98% of the people who own an EV also own a gas car. I myself almost bought a Tesla Model Y last week because it's so damn easy to do, and Tesla offered 0.99% interest, under 1% interest. I believe it's like 72 months as well for a Model Y, which was like $35,000 or $39,000, loaded. It's just insane. When you try to compare that to any other EV out there, it just doesn't make any sense to buy any of those. So the Tesla opportunity is just a good one, I think, if you're looking for something that's electric. But you're also going to want something that's gas. So my issue is not about, EVs have no place in the world. They have a place in the world, but not a place to replace a perfectly good technology that has been advancing and continues to advance with hybrid technology to be just as efficient, if not more, and a hell of a lot more convenient for us as humans so we don't have to sit like idiots with our thumbs up our asses at charging stations waiting for our cars to charge. So with that said, before you beat me up about EVs, that's my issue. So would I buy the Dodge? No, not because it's just an EV, because it's an inferior EV, inferior in almost every possible way. And I'm going to share that with you right now. And first, I wanted to show you just a little bit of fun because my Cybertruck is available for order. And again, I told you, I'm not ordering it, but let's go ahead and pop the screen up. So here is my Cybertruck Foundation Series. It's a $20,000 premium. Comes with full self-driving that apparently doesn't work yet, to buy this refrigerator on wheels. And I decided, after seeing so many of these things on the road and seeing the people driving them, that I hate to say it, I don't get it. I got it back when I thought it was going to be the coolest, rarest, wildest, neatest thing out there on the road. Now, when I see them, I'm like, oh my God, that person hit themselves on the head with something. And to get something that's actually impressively fast, it's a Cyber Beast, and you're like $119,000. It doesn't make any sense. With that said, 320 miles in range, that's not horrible. 340 in this all-wheel drive. But what's beautiful about Tesla is that you can go ahead and place the order. Not a lot of options, so you don't see the prices dramatically go up. You click continue, and all I would have to do would put in a credit card. Check out this payment though for the Cyber Beast, $2,000 a month with $4,500 down. But the beautiful thing is Tesla always offers some pretty great financing options. So even with the 0.99% not available at this point, it's still 6.39, which is still a lot better, especially for 72 months, than a lot of banks and even credit unions out there. You click order with your card, and then you put your card number in, and then you just wait till they send you an email to come pick up your Cybertruck or your Tesla or whatever the hell it is. So the process, I didn't have to fight with anybody, didn't have to get sold nitrogen tire fill, I didn't have to get sold some locking lug nuts for $350 and a special tropical package, vehicle reconditioning, Scotch guard, door edge guards. I don't have to hear any of that crap. Just come down here, put the credit card in, place the order. They're going to build the thing and then set up all the financing. It's paid for by the time you get there. Walk in and you drive away in the car. Like, how awesome is that? So anyways, that's one of the reasons why I think Dodge is screwed. But let's talk about this Charger Daytona thing. Let's go back to its performance. So the thought with this is going to be a performance EV. That's what they're pitching it as, and they're calling it an RT and a Scat Pack. Well, stupidly, they should have made the ICE version, the twin turbo 6, the RT and the Scat Pack, and sold those first. But instead, we have to wait a year before those even come out. So this is all we're gonna have. If you want to buy a Dodge Scat Pack RT, you're either going to buy the existing over surplus of inventory that's sitting out there right now, which I think you'll choose over this thing, or this thing. But why would you choose this over other options out there? So let's talk about the performance of this thing. And remember these numbers. It's 2024 Dodge Charger Daytona RT. First year, these cars this year, the 24, comes with the direct connection stage kit. Now, that is probably a software upgrade, nothing more, which takes it from 0 to 60 in 4.7 seconds. And just imagine without that, for 2025, this same exact car is going to be slower. Now, it might pick up some range, but it's slower. The Scat Pack with the Stage 2 upgrade sprints, which is basically probably like the RT with more software upgrades, sprints from 60 miles an hour, 0 to 60 in 3.3 seconds. Certainly fast, but when I show you what you can buy for likely a lot less money, I think you'll be shocked. And what I expect is going to happen, let's talk about charging times. And remember, the top speed on these are about like 135-ish miles an hour. What I believe is going to happen is Dodge is going to launch these, probably the RT in the mid-50s and the Scat Pack in the mid-60s. I could be wrong, but I'm going to bet anything that's where they're going to be. And they're definitely going to option things, and then the dealers are going to hit you with a bunch of other crap, and who knows where it's going to end up. You might end up at 65, 70,000 for a Scat Pack and 55 plus for a RT. So now let's talk about range. Now remember these numbers. The Dodge Daytona RT has 317 miles of range, and the Scat Pack 260 miles of range. And when they talk about how long it takes to charge, you're looking at about 42 minutes on a level 3 DC station. So to get from 20 to 80%. So that's still, 45 minutes almost sitting there to get from 5% to 80%, because you were stretching to get to the charging station, 52 minutes. But Brad, won't they open up the Tesla superchargers to the Dodge product because they're doing it with Ford? No, Stellantis says they're still in talks, quote unquote, about doing that. But just know when and if they do that, and Ford does it, and all these other manufacturers are now able to use the Tesla superchargers, it's going to put massive pressure around on the Tesla people, and there's going to be some drama. And not sure I want to be part of that. But at least Tesla has those chargers. But assuming you're not going to have them for this car, even if you did, it's going to take a lot longer. And remember, this car is 5,800 pounds, so efficiency is out the window. So you're looking at probably, what they say over here, about 7 hours to charge at home on a level 2, and from 20 to 80%, about 5.5 hours to charge to get up an extra 200 miles in range. And mind you, at the 260 miles in range on the on the Scat Pack, that's assuming normal driving. Not spirited, not punching at lights, not cutting up in traffic, not really driving vigorously at all, running the air conditioning and pumping your radio and using all the stuff on the car. So 260, in my opinion, is ridiculously too low. But they're like, hey, you got to sacrifice to get all that power. You're just buying an inferior car and something that you can get more range just as fast for a lot less money. So remember, I'm going to guess between somewhere in $50,000 to $70,000 these cars are going to swing through, and 260 miles in range, 317 on the RT. But now let's compare it to the Tesla, which is where things get really kind of hilarious. Let's just look at the Model Y, for example. This is like the most entry-level Tesla out there, from $31,900. And I'm going to put the cash price, even though Tesla has great leases. Dodge never has had great leases, at least that I've been able to find, unless you want a Hornet and they're trying to beg you to take it. Let's put it on cash. Long range, all-wheel drive, $31,500. 320 miles in range. So let's just compare this to the RT. So this is the most base model, Tesla against what's going to be probably a very expensive RT. 320 miles in range, 135 mile an hour top speed, pretty much the same as the RT and the Scat Pack. So you've got similar range. They were like 317, 6.5 seconds. So in this comparison, for the base car, you're getting beat at 0 to 60, 4.7 seconds on the RT, 6.5 seconds on the Model Y. So let's go ahead and give them the win. But let's take away the win when we say this is under $32,000 and really is nothing to add. And you don't have to deal with the drama of going to a dealership. You click continue and you end up with the car on its way for $250. And they do the financing at a great interest rate and you avoid all the brain damage. So that is $31,500. But let's go to the next version of this thing. For $34,490, still, I can almost guarantee you going to be a lot less than, a base model RT. You're at 308 miles of range. So 10 miles, 9 miles less range than the RT. Same top speed, but now you're at same 0 to 60, 4.7, 4.8 seconds. Human brain and body can't tell the difference between 4.7 and 4.8. So you're at the same exact speed, but at $34,500, 300 miles in range. That's probably going to be easily $15,000 to $20,000 less for this car. But it doesn't look as nice. That's cool. You could pay $20,000 more to look different in a different car. That weighs over 1,000 pounds more than this thing, meaning you're going to be buying more tires. But let's go just up a few thousand more to the performance all-wheel drive. You lose a little bit of range, but you end up smoking the RT in top speed and 0 to 60 at 3.5 versus 4.7, 155 miles per hour versus like 135 on the RT. But let's talk about the Scat Pack. Scat Pack at 260 miles in range. You've got more range than the Scat Pack, higher top speed than the Scat Pack EV, and you're at 3.5 seconds versus 3.3 seconds. Again, a negligible amount for a car that is priced at about $38,000. I'm going to tell you, there's no way Dodge is going to be pricing that that Scat Pack anywhere near $38,000, meaning you're better off buying this thing because you got more range, higher top speed, and almost same exact 0 to 60. So it just doesn't make any sense. And you don't have to deal with all the drama. And if you do want to get full self-driving, it's like $100 more a month on your payments, and you pick up actual, real full self-driving, which you're not going to get on any of the Dodges. But let's just go real quick and look at the Model 3. Model 3, another one of these entry-level cars with some incredible pricing, and you're looking at just a couple options in this version. So you've got 272 for the base Model 3, miles in range, 125, a little less top speed, 5.8 seconds. So that car is $34,000. So it's not going to compare to either the RT or the Scat Pack. It's definitely going to have more range, the Scat Pack, but less range than the RT. But then you just simply click down here for $42,740. I think this is a little nicer looking car, and you're at 341 miles versus 260 on the Scat Pack, and on the RT at 317. 125 miles per hour top speed, so you're losing like 10 miles an hour top speed, but you're at 4.2 seconds much faster than the RT, and definitely a little bit slower, about a second slower than the Scat Pack. So for $43,000, but you're picking up a Model 3, a little nicer looking car. But now the performance for $42,500, you're back up 303 miles. So now you're competing with the Scat Pack. You've got 303 miles versus 260 on the Scat Pack in range, 163 top speed versus like 134, I think it was, or 135 on the Scat Pack. So you got 163. Then you've got 2.9 seconds 0 to 60 versus 3.3 0 to 60 in the RT for a whopping $42,490. No brain damage in the dealership. The car gets delivered, and it's got the better technology, and it's got the supercharging network, much better supercharging network. It weighs over 1,000 pounds less, and you're rolling in a Model 3. But Brad, those are two kind of little egg-shaped, cars. Not what I want. I want to get the, if I'm going to get something, I want something that looks cool. Well, that's subjective. Now let's go ahead and look at the Model S. I think most people would agree. I mean, it's a very nice looking car. With the new updates and everything, the car looks great. And let's go ahead and look at what the math looks like on this car compared to the Scat Pack, which will probably be priced well into the 60s range. And this is probably a good comparison. So the base, first level Model S has 402. So this, right alongside, this is sitting next to a Scat Pack Daytona EV with 260 miles of range, 134 miles in top speed, and 3.3 seconds in 0 to 60. I've got 402 versus 260 in range. That's massive. I mean, that's worth every penny. Then you've got 130 miles, so you're only off by 4 or 5 miles per hour, and 3.1 seconds. So you're beating the Scat Pack. By the way, the Scat Pack, it's only 1 year. This first year, it's going to be able to do those numbers. So the next year version is going to get crushed by this Model S. And if we know anything about Tesla, just wait a little while, they'll drop the price even more. But hey, you want to just destroy everything? Go up to $81,000 and you're cruising in at 359 in range versus 260 in range, 200 mile an hour top speed versus 134, 135, and 1.99 seconds 0 to 60 versus 3.3. And you pick up a Plaid for $81,500, just like that. Now, if you want to throw wheels on it and full self-driving, everything else, you can end up over $100,000. But bottom line is, Tesla is just a better option all the way around. And then when it comes to the biggest reason is, and I have a charger, Tesla charger in my house. It was here before we got here. It's there. It's fully operational, and it'll charge in about, I don't know, I think it's about 3 times faster than the normal home charger that you would get with the Dodge Charger Daytona EV. So I've got that here already. But the biggest thing is the supercharging network. Being able to go and charge in super fast time, 15 minutes for 200 miles. You're not going to be able to do that with any other EV, any BMW, Mercedes, Hyundai. You're not going to get that with any of these things. So Tesla wins all the way around when it comes to the charging network, the time it takes to charge, the home charging options. The technology is better. All the way around, it just makes more sense to buy a Tesla. So if you're sitting here thinking, I'm going to buy this Dodge thing, why would you give up all that range, all that performance just to have a Dodge emblem on your car? Why would you give up all the performance? Why would you give up the range? Why would you go through the brain damage going to a Dodge dealership and fighting with them about nitrogen air add-ons and locking lug nuts and all this crap all over again? I don't know about you all, but I'm kind of exhausted with it. I'm thinking, if I'm buying an EV, which I need a daily driver, maybe I'll buy one of these things. Again, I'll still have a couple thousand horsepower in my driveway and my garage to screw the universe up and the environment up, to make up for me saving a little bit of it with the Tesla. But the Tesla could be a great option for me on a daily basis. I have the charger here. It's 300 miles, 400 miles. I can get a Model S, 400 miles on that thing, and I'm good to go for probably the same or less than I would pay for a Dodge Daytona EV. So a diehard Dodge fan like myself, if I was to buy one, I would not buy the Dodge. Why would you? And I would love you to comment and let me know, why would you pay the same amount, possibly even more, for slower car, a car with less range, similar or lower top speed, takes a lot longer to charge, horrible charging network, and a horrible purchase experience in comparison to this? I'm not a big Tesla fanboy. Obviously, I'm not. I've never had one. But if I was to do it, if I'm going to go do the EV thing, that's what I'm doing. I'm not going anywhere else. I see it every day at one of my offices. All these Hyundais and Mercedes and BMWs all fighting over the crappy chargers, the slow chargers parked out in front of the office all day long, wrestling. Go by the Tesla charging stations, and these guys are in and out all day, super fast. Go in, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, they've got 200-300 miles in range, and they're back on the road. If I'm going to do it, that's how I'm doing it. I'm not saying I'm doing it, though. I don't know if I can get myself to ever go there. But if I was, this is how. What do you think? What would you do? Let me know your thoughts. I think this is why Dodge is screwed. They're going to launch something nobody's going to want. With that, everybody, like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Stellantis will lead the automotive industry and achieve carbon net zero by 2038, from well to wheel and throughout the entire supply chain.